Hello, this is Lulu Rose at the Rose Room. I'm reporting for our freedom of speech platform, American Patriots Social. Today I'm covering QX post from the Daily War Report on July 20th, 2026. Sovereign Decree, the structural implementation of Nesara Gesara, the executive restitution of the human family, and the financial termination of debt slavery. Sovereignty Decree, the structural implementation of Nesara Gesara, the executive restitution of the human family, and the financial termination of debt slavery. The administrative rollout of the asset-backed quantum financial system, QFS, system liquidation of unlawful credit, mortgage, and tax liabilities, and the deployment of blocked humanitarian resources. Allied Enforcement Protocol. Number 1. The collapse of fiat printing and the awakening under genuine land law. There comes a moment when the people no longer need vague words. They need clarity. They need to understand what is being prepared in secrecy. They need to understand why it matters and what this process is truly connected to. Today, we want to speak clearly about Nesara Gesara and why this public international law template establishes the absolute foundation for the future of the human family. Nesara Gesara represents no civilian statutory reform attempt, but a fundamental financial and humanitarian systemic transformation. It is directly connected to the restoration of the people's sovereignty, to comprehensive debt relief, to unconstrained liquidity, to asset-backed value, to absolute protection, and to the release of resources that have been held back for too long by the corrupt proxy shells of the deep state. For many years, the people have lived under an unbearable engineered pressure. Debt pressure, financial pressure, system pressure, constant uncertainty, deliberate delays, and administrative restrictions. It was a constant feeling in daily routine that no matter how hard they worked, the legacy system keeps them trapped. Nesara Gesara is of such monumental importance because it represents the irreversible road away from that old weight managed via the insolvent U.S. corporation of 1871 and its continental administrative proxies. It represents the material establishment of a cleansed financial architecture, a structure where the people possess unconstrained access, maximum protection, true liquidity, and absolute independence under genuine land law. 2. The executive mechanics of asset restitution and the elimination of the debt matrix. The administrative enforcement of this unprecedented wealth model executes inside the engine room of the Allied Defense Forces over the unhackable tracks of the new global network. The activation of universal high income. This process is not only about money, it's about people finally being able to breathe again, about families being lifted from paralyzing existential pressure, and about human dignity experiencing its complete restoration. Inside the shadows of the G7 foreclosure, the asset-backed quantum financial system, QFS, mirrors unlawfully stripped assets and taxes back onto the new sovereign accounts of living individuals as a lawful restitution of asset based on historical banking logs. Prosperity is thus no longer reserved for a small criminal elite, but open for the people. The seamless liquidation of unlawful debt registries. Many people want to know what Nesara Gesara can bring to their daily lives. It brings immediate financial relief through the complete expiration of all credit card, mortgage, and banking liabilities generated via the fraudulent fiat fractional reserve banking matrix. Since these sums rested upon mere book fiction and interest manipulation managed via the deep state, the QFS instantly strips these contracts of any legal baseline under the Uniform Commercial Code, UCC. The old world of engineered scarcity evaporates within the brightest spotlight of truth. Liquidating institutional blockades under the UCMJ. A process of this world historical magnitude does not move without severe resistance. There have been delays, deliberate blocks, bureaucratic obstacles, and dark forces of the deep state trying to slow the process because they wanted to prevent the true financial freedom of nations under all circumstances. The DoD Law of War Manual, Chapter 11, governs the sabotage under national emergency conditions with surgical coldness. Operating beneath Title 10 U.S.C., JAG and Allied Cyber Detachment have mapped and isolated these hidden hands in the background. Some of the most critical executive moves happen in absolute silence behind the scenes before the world witnesses their physical manifestation in everyday life. The logistical safety net of Allied liberation. Nesara Gesara is far more than a financial reset. It is a deeply human process of healing. It is about returning hope to people who have waited too long, about helping families who have carried too heavy a burden, and about releasing pressure from hearts that have been tired for years. The coordinated rollout of this structure is the exclusive reason why the Allied Supreme Command secures the 3-year transformation corridor leading toward the official conclusion of the term on January 20th, 2029, under the condition locked in. The deployment of Allied task forces guarantees that the release of humanitarian resources, the decentralized implementation of the over 5,000 foreclosed patents, and public access to resonance healing technologies, medbeds, execute flawlessly with zero disruption to foundational civilian utilities. When the Emergency Broadcast System, EBS, permanently silences civilian media frequencies, quote, music is about to stop, quote, the global population will be presented with a complete liberation from material existence slavery. The nations return protected, self-sustaining, and in absolute sovereignty to genuine land law. For a world without true freedom is not complete. A financial system without unhackable protection is not safe. A future without liquidity is not fair. And a process without absolute transparency cannot truly serve the people. The clockwork of Allied reconstruction executes the transition upon a mathematically optionless baseline. Semper Supra, love and light. No exceptions. Guardian Daniel Lolou.
Before the thrones of men were built, before the flags in blood were gilt, there stood a truth no sword could sway, that rights are born, not given away. No crown, no court, no chartered hand can void what heaven's laws have planned. For from the womb to final breath, these rights remain in life and death. We hold the truth that none can shake, that liberty is not man-made. When tyrants rise and justice falls, the righteous right to rise still calls. We don't thrill for pride or fame, we stand to guard the sacred flame. By nature's God we claim this cause, to break corrupt and godless laws. Political bands may serve the just, but when they rot, dissolve them must. Not out of wrath nor thirst for war, but duty bound to heaven's core. The state exists to serve, not reign, to shield from harm, to guard from pain. But when it chains the soul and will, the people's right is higher still. This isn't chaos nor disdain, it's justice running through the vein. It's covenant, not wild revolt. It's moral law, not lightning bolt. The right to leave what lies betrayed is holy, solemn, heaven made. We've cried for peace, appealed, endured. Now truth demands we must be cured. We hold the truth that none can shake, that liberty is not man-made. When tyrants rise and justice falls, the righteous right to rise still calls. We don't rebel for pride or fame, we stand to guard the sacred flame. By nature's God we claim this cause, to break corrupt and godless laws. The scroll was signed in pain and fire by those who sought no crown or empire, but pledged their lives, their sacred name, to birth the land of truth and flame. And now once more the lines are drawn, where rights are mocked and virtue's gone. So we declare, both bold and grieved, the power to leave what we've believed. We hold the truth, we make it known, that rights come not from man-made throne. And when the bands no longer bind, to justice, truth, and love aligned, we shall not kneel, we shall not flee. We stand in full accountability, for we are born of heaven's breath, and we shall rise in life or death. Appealing to the judge above, with solemn hope and faithful love, we take the weight, we bear the flame, to guard the rights in Yahweh's name.